My name is Hype Schultz, and today I'm going to talk to Lalit. Lalit, you have an impronounceable last name.
Bhamare.
Okay, I won't try that. So, who are you?
Well, I'm still trying to figure out. uh, a tester, a passionate tester by heart with over 16 years of experience. Made my journey from India, now currently in Germany. I would say, who am I? I'm a passionate tester who has been active part of global software testing community, still trying to make a difference.
Okay, so you said you've been 16 years in testing.
Yes.
Describe your career.
Oh, well, I started as a Java programmer when I was working with Tata Consultancy Services back in India around 2009. And after my training as a Java programmer, I was put into a software testing project as an automation engineer. I tried to automate the scripts written by other people, which I hate, and I decided to why should I not write it myself,
Yeah.
and that's how I got into testing. And since then, I have been a very keen learner and practitioner of software testing. Uh, I was forced to write test cases in certain format, and I wasn't very comfortable with that, which is why I decided to see what's there on the internet and how other people are doing stuff. And that's how I got in touch with an awesome guy, Joel Montwaliski from Practitest. I got introduced to his blog, and from there I got introduced to the world of contextual software testing. From there I got to know lots of interesting people, Michael Bolton, James Park. Eventually I got connected with Paul, you. Since then, I think I have been learning new things and trying to pay it forward through different things I did. I started a magazine called Tea Time with Testers as a community project. Since last 9 years, I have been working in Germany, currently with Accenture Song as a manager, and also group lead for quality engineering services, thought leadership for Switzerland, Austria, and Germany.
Go.
And here, finally, in front of you, I remember I interviewed you, however, around 8 years ago for Tea Time with Testers. And now here, I'm very happy and honored to be interviewed by you, if that sums up my journey till now.
Okay, nice. So, you say you've been a tester. What attracts you in the software quality or testing industry?
It has always been the pleasure of finding things out. I'm a big fan of Sir Richard Hammond, and when I was trying to explain my job to my father back then, by my education I'm mechanical engineer. I ended up in software testing, and he was asking me what I really do, and I happened to come across some work by Sir Richard Hammond, and that made me find my answer why I like testing. And it has always been the pleasure of finding things out that
Cool.
are invisible to many people in plain sight.
Nice. You run Tea Time with testers. So, what can you tell me about this? About it?
Tea Time with Tester has a story. When I was working with TCS, there was an internal testing community of practice, and we had started a newsletter called Testers Bucket. And we saw quite positive outcome of having this newsletter running across the group. It gave people an opportunity to voice out their opinions, the competitions that we had. And me and my other colleague who were together at that time, we decided why not to do it on a global front, which is how we started Tea Time with Testers. It has always been a community project, and I give full credit for its success and its significance still now to the wide community of testers we have, because it has not been a typical commercial publication, so to speak, but it has always been run and contributed by practitioners, new voices, and experienced people alike. And from time to time, we kept publishing issues with time relevant articles and thoughts. And I'm very proud to say Tea Time with Testers has made its own contribution in shaping the nature of software testing, or let's say meaningful testing, when it mattered the most.
Cool. So how long does it run?
It has been active for around 12 years now.
12 years, wow.
Yes, it used to be a monthly publication for around 9 years, but yeah, as life happens to everyone, it's a lot of work to keep producing a monthly issue without compromising on quality. So we decided to reduce the frequency, and now it's a quarterly publication.
Nice. Okay, and how many readers do you have?
Oh, good question. Back then, when we started, there was no concept of mailing list, so we started with Google Group, and we still have around 4 to 5 thousand active subscribers on the Google Group. And I guess on our mailing list, we have around 8 to 9 thousand subscribers across the globe. So on an average, I would say 12,000
Wow.
readers or subscribed readers. But the magazine is free to download for anybody who visits the website. So I would say our reach has been around 190 plus countries.
Cool. So do you have any stories on special writers or articles you remember?
To be honest, all the people who wrote for Tea Time with Testers have been very special. They have made a very, very significant contribution and impact. You have written, Paul has written, many people we keep meeting at conferences or referring their work. At some point of time, they have contributed in Tea Time with Tester. But a noteworthy mention would be Jerry Weinberg himself asked to join the team. And I still remember he mentioning that Tea Time with Testers is an accomplishment of highest order. 99% of people do not achieve in their lifetime. And that moved me, that inspired me, and something like that coming from Jerry Weinberg gave me motivation to keep running this project despite lots of hurdles I've been through.
Nice. 'Cause as you know, Jerry Weinberg has been very influential for everything around RST. So that's nice. I read a lot of his stuff, and also I was very happy that he joined your team. So that's cool. So let's talk about RST. You've been a peer advisor, but before we talk about that, why is RST important to you? What influence did it have on your career?
Well, ever since I got to know about RSD, I cannot imagine not testing without implementing or following the principles, because it's not just about practice. It's not just about methodology. I think it's more of a belief system, thinking approach, so to speak, epistemology, as you say. And I don't think meaningful testing is possible without critically thinking about the stuff you're doing. And learning about rapid software testing, I got to understand how meaningful testing is done, how I can contribute value as a tester beyond clicking buttons and declaring things pass fail. Ever since I have learned rapid software testing and practiced it, it helped me become a better tester. It helped me make other people better tester, and I honestly cannot imagine testing something without applying my RST learnings.
Cool. And are there specific tactics or methods that you use from RST that you like?
I still use heuristic test strategy model in different ways. Even when I build some automation reporting dashboards, I classified them with SFDR POT. My goal was to gather information about risk in a meaningful way so stakeholders can make informed decision. So HTSM has been my biggest takeaway from rapid software testing, which I still apply at different stages in software development and in different ways. And I again cannot imagine how testing can be way different without implementing one of these practices.
Cool. So, as mentioned earlier, you're a peer advisor for RST. What does a peer advisor do?
As a peer advisor back then, I was assisting James in his RSD online classes. My job was to make sure that students are understanding things which were not sometimes very easy to understand right during the lecture. I was assisting James with reviewing students' work. But back in days when I was working with Barclays, I also taught rapid software testing full day courses that were originally taught by James in Barclays Global Test Center.
Nice. So, as a peer advisor, you look at students' work, you help them understand. How does that work in an online training?
In an online training, you generally help them by adding more references in the communication, which are not necessarily easy to be found, clarifying doubts, because RSD is a lot about thinking, grasping things in detail, and sometimes students struggle to understand things. Also, if you are someone who has tested with certain belief for years, it can be a very different experience for people to unlearn the old things and learn new. And I think peer advisors play a very important role here in making them feel comfortable, or let's say making them feel uh, not an idiot. Because it's important for people to understand that it's okay not to know everything, and it's also important for them to understand that it's okay to unlearn. And as a peer advisor, people do make meaningful contribution in making their learning experience comfortable.
So you add references in the chat.
Sometimes yes, and also we were available for the conversation, because reviewing every student's work is not possible considering the size, and some works were picked by James during the class, and some other works we used to support for reviewing, feedback, maybe doing one-on-ones if needed. But when I was peer advisor, it was around 6 years ago. I'm not sure if the contribution is done the same way, but I'm sure it's still worth it.
So James is doing all the lectures and the debriefs of the exercises, and you sometimes just take a student on one-on-one and help him understand what James has said.
That's how we were helping
Cool.
them.
Interesting, because I always wondered how you can get a group of, like, I don't know, how many people were in the class?
That time there used to be at least 50.
Yeah, you see, it's really, I did a lot of online training, and with smaller groups that it's okay, but the bigger the group get, the
Yes.
less people get to talk.
True.
Yeah, okay,
True.
cool.
I also remember me being an Indian also helped to make some people more confident or comfortable asking questions, because let's admit, nature of RST can overwhelm people if they are facing the literature, James' delivery style for the first time, and sometimes they are, let's say, a bit shy from asking questions or even admitting they don't know. And I believe my contribution helped in making these students more comfortable in opening up, admitting where they need help. And I believe that's also one aspect how peer advisors contribute in a very effective way.
Nice. So you created something called QCSD, Quality Conscious Software Delivery. That's an impressive name. Tell me about it. What is it? Can you?
QCSD is actually an extension of my learnings from rapid software testing, or I would say my implementation of RST in a fast delivery, high performing agile engineering team. I was compelled to work in a context where being an independent tester or maintaining that independent testing mindset was no longer an option. But at the same time, I wanted to make sure that I'm not compromising the value I would create by being this service provider to the development team. Which is why I came up with QCSD. It's a delivery framework that revolves around accelerating the shippable quality without compromising on speed. And the way I frame it is, it's a delivery of quality products by quality conscious people using quality enabling processes. But we use testing, education as a tool to come up to this transformation in the teams. So QCSD is a framework that helps teams to reach this goal using testing as a tool of transformation.
Go. But can you give a concrete example of how this works?
Concrete example would be the QCSD has 4 implementation stages: enable, engage, execute, and evaluate. And I have developed certain session types, for example, to make sure that the information about risk is found earlier. For example, during the design phase itself, our QCSD recommends to follow QX sessions, which is like quality experience, where design thinkers and system thinkers are supposed to come together. I have created a checklist, which is a combination of some recommendations, some stuff I learned from Jerry Weinberg from his last book, Design Thinking Heuristic, if I'm not wrong, that helped me understand it is possible to prevent defects, or let's say identify a risk and prevent those from manifesting into defects in the code. So starting earlier, testers can make a meaningful impact using their sharp observation skills about people, system, and also the products. And there are further session types where you implement SFDI POT to improve your coverage. I have PCO session, the name borrowed from Paul, that I use, that I recommend in QCSD, where your grooming sessions or refinement meetings could be more effective than simply going through acceptance criteria, which is very often not concrete. So we use this technique to make sure that everybody in the team understands the product elements are not just in the acceptance criteria, but it's way beyond. And that's one way to ensure the coverage of product is thought of during technical solutioning in product design, as well as your test coverage in design phase. And that's basically helps you to do the things right the first time you're doing.
Cool. So basically what you're saying is you use a mind map. Is that what you mean? Or is it a different model? Or it can be anything?
It can be anything. It's more about the set of some practices, some recommended processes, and also conditioning of your mind to accept that things can be done differently, and it is possible to deliver things right from the beginning.
Cool.
You just have to know how to do it with more consciousness for quality.
Yeah. So I wanted to come to that because you said quality mindset. Now you use the word consciousness. How do you get people to change their mindset or to get more quality conscience, as you call it?
I learned about this from Jerry Weinberg's book itself, where he has discussed quality in much more detail. And Weinberg's work around the emotional and political dilemma about quality helped me understand. So I was basically tasked with fixing a quality problem in one of the team I was working with. An engineering manager told me, Lalit, we need your expertise. We have lots of bugs. Our customers are yelling at us. How do we do this? Which is where we started experimenting. So testers, by their sharp observation skills and their ability to observe the subtleties of human behavior and also the system they work with, makes them very, let's say, qualified to make a difference. And I use this understanding to empower testers to bring those hidden things in consciousness of everyone to make a decision about quality. So the mindset is all about understanding that quality is not something that only testers need to care about. I still don't think testers can assure quality ever, but they can certainly help their teams to understand it better and bring those hidden things on the surface and make it part of collective consciousness of your team.
Okay.
And if everybody understands how they can do their work with more consciousness for quality, I think you don't have to invest anything extra or reinvent the wheels for that matter.
Cool. Okay, then we're getting to an end, and for the people listening or watching, what is a recommendation you would give testers that are not familiar with RST or context-driven testing? Where should they start?
Well, they should start questioning themselves if they like their work, and if they do, how they can create value. I think it's a question every tester should ask themselves. If you don't know how you're adding value or creating value to your work, you're probably not doing good work, and that might help them realize that there is a lot more to testing than simply writing test cases and clicking buttons and automating the scripts, which is why I'm also doing a workshop today, testing beyond testing. My advice will be for testers to critically question the context and critically think about what they want to do in order to be an effective tester. I'm sure their search will land them up to RST or the community of thinking testers, because I honestly can't imagine how else you could do things better.
Okay, nice. Is there anything that needs to be said that I haven't asked you, that you said, well, this is really important that I mention it? Or
I would say the context-driven school of testing, or let's say community of testers that used to be active, or in general I would say the community of testing that used to exist a decade ago, it's high time that that community is reborn, particularly because in the age of AI, the most important thing in my opinion is critical thinking and thinking mindset, which somewhere got lost in the big scheme of things, and it's high time that we bring that awareness, that cautiousness, that passion for thinking once again. Otherwise we are at the risk of losing meaningful testing, and if we lose that, we are going to fail as an development community, not just testing industry. So yes, I would like to say this: bring back that passion, bring back your thinking hats, connect together, collaborate, learn more, share more, and be more useful the way we were.
cool. Thank you.
My pleasure. Thank
Was
you
a-
for having me.